bloopers at the end. It always reminds us that however successful you are, we all still make mistakes.
Yeah, that's the real trick. It's not that we're born super talented or anything like that. We've just made more mistakes than the next guy. Hey everybody, it is Friday. Hope you're going to have an amazing weekend. It's time for SMG Viewers Comments, the show that's about you, not about me. So let's skip the bullshit and get right to it.
CD Baby is the cutting edge of the knife, stabbing musicians in the gut. I don't understand why musicians sign up for these dreadful services. I put one album up through CD Baby many years ago, and they did zero for me. Whereas I've never had a problem with Bandcamp, and they helped me sell physical copies and merch, all with a 70-30 ratio in my favor. Now that Radiohead are over, I hope more bands get to the point and get on side.
Yeah, you know, I've been reading a lot of comments from you guys about some nightmare scenarios working with CD Baby. It's like, oh, you put a disc out with CD Baby, and then go make a music video for your own song, and then they claim you on your own song. Now, my Monday morning mix review live stream got taken down by CD Baby there a couple weeks ago. So I disputed it and I said, look, I've got copies of signed documents from the people writing these songs that you're claiming are yours, saying I've got permission to use it. So they made it public again. They allowed me to make the video public again long after the initial spike is over. But they're still keeping the monetization from that show. They're keeping all the money. And yeah, I don't see a single fucking red cent for that. So, hey, thanks CD Baby. Thanks for being so fucking easy to work with. Wow, you guys are surely making things great for everybody. And by that, I mean, check this out.
No submissions that have already been uploaded to CD Baby. The don't use a loser service clause.
Hey man, I really do appreciate the suggestion. I think I might have to update my terms of service there just a little bit because I'm kind of tired of dealing with all this crap.
CD Baby are con artists. The blocking of channels videos is judged as guilty first, innocent if we have time to review it.
And even if they do review it, there's a very good chance they're just gonna keep all the money anyway. So yeah, there is that. What a great service. Why wouldn't everybody sign up for this?
Thanks for making this. I'm super glad I found this before going down the rabbit hole. You saved me much time and money.
Oh, thanks very much, Dynamics Department. I really do appreciate that. Of course, you're referencing my tube shootout video that upset the guitar community and got me banned off several Facebook guitar forums for daring to bring scientific evidence into a cloud full of bullshit. Now, for those of you who are just joining me and maybe aren't familiar with what I'm talking about a year ago, I did a video where I shot out several different types of tubes in the preamp section and a power amp section just to see how much of a difference in tone we would hear. And the short version is we didn't hear any. We heard differences in amplitude. Some tubes are a little louder than others, some tubes are a little quieter, but they're most definitely not equalizers. Now, interestingly enough, I just did a podcast with a very large audio equipment manufacturer, and I was brought up the subject of this, and I said, look, these were my findings. And he's like, yeah, you know, I used to work for Manley, and we tested all kinds of tubes. And you guys don't know, Manley makes the best tube gear on earth. And he said, yeah, we tested all these tubes out and found pretty much the same thing. Some are a little louder, some are a little quieter. It's mainly about how clean a tube is versus how distorted a tube is and how reliable it is. That's what they're looking for, noise floors, that kind of thing. You're not going to get a brighter tube or a darker tube. That's just pure fucking nonsense. And if a guitar player tells you that, he's just talking out of his ass and clearly has not done his own tests in any kind of reliable fashion.
I went to GuitarCenter to buy some gear. I had cash as usual, and they told me to go get a prepaid card. I said, fuck you, I spent over $8,000 in this store, and you want me to send me out the door paying cash? They said, it's not me, dude, it's the bosses wanted it that way. I said, you just lost a customer.
Fucking hell, what's up with that? You have to buy a prepaid card to even buy something at GuitarCenter now? You know, I don't know how true that is. I'd probably want to double check with somebody at GuitarCenter's management. Anybody watching this show, if you work at GuitarCenter, can you confirm that? I'd love to hear that. Please leave a comment or something about that. Have any of you other guys watching the show encountered that? Maybe it's just the local store. I don't understand this prepaid card thing. It's probably to get you to spend more money than you want to, because they're probably trying to squeeze you for every last fucking penny they can get. If that's the case, I'd highly recommend shopping at Sweetwater or at Toman, who aren't going to fuck around with that kind of insane nonsense. You're a consumer, you're the one with the money, you're the one with the fucking power. If somebody says you have to buy a prepaid card to make a purchase at their store, tell them to go fuck themselves. I really want to know where that store was. If anybody's got any info, please leave a comment below. This sounds like a story worth investigating a little bit further.
This video is the embodiment of old man yells at cloud. This dude has a genuine commercial interest in micking up cabs because it requires a studio. Yawn.
Hey, Swift16, thank you so much for writing in. I'm always appreciate these kind of comments. I love your screen name because it is definitely ironic. See, now if you were actually Swift, you would have realized that last week I put out a video that said the exact opposite. See, I looked at both sides of the argument, not just one. I don't know, maybe try fucking paying attention for a change. What do you think? I literally did a video called 13 Reasons Why Amp Sims Are Better Than Real Amps. So why don't you grab your teddy bear, go watch that, and then you can feel better about yourself.
Glenn, give us a video on 13 reasons why you're not in business now or have been in years, which forced you to just make YouTube videos and nothing more.
Hold on a second here. The last guy said I made the video about real amps so I could get more business. Which one is it? Am I in business or am I not in business? I don't fucking know. You guys tell me. Here's the thing. Even when I was doing bands and I was booked for a year solid, I still had a day job. I spent 27 years doing a job I fucking hated at Chrysler so I could do this, something I love. Now, here's the thing they never tell you in recording studios, that if you want to record metal bands for a living, good luck with that, because the guys who actually do it full-time for a living, you can count on one hand. That is the undisputed fucking truth. There are very, very, very few people who get to do hard rock and metal bands full-time for a living. Now, here's the thing. The one thing YouTube has allowed me to do, and this channel has allowed me to do, is to be able to do this job full-time. I get to do it. I absolutely love what I do. And, you know, you're basically saying, you should get a real job. Well, the economy has changed. Now, the reason I don't do as many bands as I used to is because I'm very picky and choosy about what projects I take on. It's not saying I'm not going to work with bands. No, I just checked out this band Ammo from Toronto. We're going to do something together. Cletus Christ, that's an artist we found on the Monday Morning Mix Reviews. I'm going to do something with him as well because he just blew my fucking mind. I'm like, I really, really, really want to do something with this dude. You're going to see something come out, hopefully, over the next 6 months, something like that, if everything pans out. Not only am I a little more choosy about the artists I work with, the other thing we have to realize is that recording at home has become much, much, much easier than it used to be with certain programs, with certain amp sims, with certain drum simulations, that kind of thing. A lot of people are working at their desktops and just merely do not need a large studio to do that. So I've morphed my business from just working with bands and doing music videos into doing production lessons and gear reviews, because I can walk in here, do my job, get it done, fire it off to an editor, and then I can go do other things. I don't have to worry about mix revision after mix revision after mix revision because somebody wants the bass up, you know, 0.25 decibels because they can really hear the difference. The notion that working on YouTube should be looked down upon for some reason is quite laughable. Clearly, somebody hasn't been paying attention to what's been going on.
I am excited to hear yet another death metal band with a rosebush logo.
Shut the fuck up, Marvin.
Hey Glenn, what do you think is the best way to find bandmates to play with me when you're an introvert such as me? I know most people just play with people they go to school or work with, but I don't know anyone at my job who plays. Would definitely like to hear your thoughts on establishing a network with musicians so I can get in a room and jam with people.
Hey Chase, thanks so much for writing in. Again, we found Chase on the Monday Morning Mix Reviews. It was really cool what he submitted. The guy can really fucking sing. I'm looking forward to hearing some more stuff from him. My advice to Chase would be the same advice I give everybody. Put up some flyers in your local music store. Local musicians seeking bandmates, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Tell them what you're into, what your influences are, what your project is, and here's a link to some of my material. If you like what you hear, give me a call because I'd love to play with you. That kind of thing. You can also hit up your local classifieds or your local online classifieds. See if your Craigslist has some kind of bulletin board for that kind of thing as well. You might have some luck there. And of course, if you don't mind playing remotely with people, check out the SMG Discord because I've found some absolutely incredible musicians in there as well. And that Discord is open to everybody. You're all more than welcome to join. I'll have a link in the description below, and I hope to see you in there.
Choice paralysis is why I stopped using Helix and started using neural DSP plugins. I know the video is about real amps, but seriously, the amount of options we have is just too much.
I think that's a very valid point. The Helix is a wicked piece of hardware, but yes, there are just infinite possibilities. So you really wind up spending your time in the menus as opposed to playing your instrument. That is a great thing about the neural stuff is you kind of get one basic sound. You can tweak it a little bit, but it's just basically plug in and go. And when it comes to making music, that's what it should be. I mean, like when you plug into a real amp, it's the same thing. Plug in, dial it in, away you go, start making music. And that should be your first priority when you're trying to write something cool.
That amp had me making thousands of dollars from busking. I used that amp to buy my first real amp, and I still use it to this day. That being said, it certainly has no place in the studio, and if used in the studio, it should be used only for bashing in the face of the idiot who brought it in.
Oh, of course, you're referencing 13 Reasons Why Real Amps Destroy Sims. We used a picture, I think that was of a Roland Cube. I think my editor, Jack, found that. Jack, can you let us know what amp that was or reference that right there? That'd be cool, man. Now, it's absolutely amazing that you made real money using that amp while busking. I mean, like, for that kind of purpose. Hey, more power to you. That's why I'll review something like the Positive Grid Spark, which isn't exactly my first choice for the studio, not in a million years, not especially when you got all this back here. But in a live situation, or if you want to go play at a campfire or a picnic or something like that, yeah, it's going to be fantastic. I mean, when I went and checked out that church to possibly convert into a studio, that's what I did. I brought along the Spark and a guitar so I could plug into the power and make sure that it was clean and I wasn't going to run into any noise issues. So those amps definitely serve a purpose, but recording isn't really one of them.
Is there any chance of a How to Record and Mix Heavy Guitars Hybrid Edition episode? Pros, cons, options, and how it compares to a captured performance from a mic cab, if there is any difference.
Hey, Ben, I think that's a phenomenal idea for an episode. I might want to do that sometime in January. Could be a lot of fun. Is there going to be a difference between that and a mic cab? Oh, yeah, big time. How much of a difference and how much is it worth you? That really remains to be seen, and it's really up to you. And that's the thing, if you live in an apartment, probably the hybrid system is the way to go. So I might want to check that out. There's a couple different ways to do it, using different load boxes, that sort of thing. I think I really want to do that episode. Thanks so much for the suggestion. And to you guys watching, if you have any suggestions for stuff you'd like to see me add into that episode, of course, I'm more than interested in hearing what you've got to say. So leave a comment below.
I just can't get a great sound from the Emissary amp sim. It's probably because I'm stuck at it. I'm using a Harley Benton Amarok, so it should sound good.
Well, in this case, I don't think it's the gear you're using. It's probably the lack of experience. I mean, it takes a little bit of time to master anything, and you need knowledge to do that. Chances are, if it doesn't sound good out of the Emissary, you don't have an impulse response loader. You need to have the Emissary on your chain, and then right after it, you have to have an impulse, which is what we were talking about with the hybrid system there. And that's a digital snapshot of a speaker. And if you don't have that, it probably will sound like shit. Now, if you do have an impulse response loader and you're still not getting good tones, I definitely recommend Scott Elliott's Guitar Tone Mastery, because it will show you how to master the amp sim and get absolutely incredible tones. It's one of the very few courses that I've taken that I've gone through twice because there's just so much great information in there. It is worth its weight in gold, especially if you're struggling to get amazing sounds out of your amp sims. Scott breaks it down in a way that makes sense for everybody. He doesn't just show you how to do it, he shows you the why. This is why we do it, and this is how we evaluate it. This will make your guitar sounds better. Can't recommend that enough. I'll have a link in the description for that as well, because you just can't beat that course.
Hey Glenn, is there any point in quad tracking lead guitars? As the only guitar player in the band, I play both riffs and lead, and I've so far been double tracking. I'm considering quad tracking the next time, however, I imagine it will sound weird to go from quad riffing to double lead.
Now the trick is, if you're recording, you keep the rhythms playing while there is a lead, so you've still got that awesome rhythm tone going. I mean, like, and you don't get those weird dropouts where you just switch from rhythm to a great big hole in your mix and it's just the lead and a bass. Of course, if you want that dynamic, that's absolutely fine as well. I've done double tracked leads before. That's kind of cool. The other thing is, if you want to do 4 lead tracks, you can always do double track your lead and then do 2 harmonies. That is really cool. I remember doing something a few years ago on one record where we were trying to do these backwards split chord things on the rhythms, and I'm like, well, why don't we have 2 guitars play the first 2 notes, the other 2 guitars play the other 2 notes of the chord. And that worked out great. It just kind of, added this really cool dynamic. You can always try that kind of thing. Normally though, when I'm doing leads, I'll just single track a lead, add a little bit of delay onto it, and then, drop in any harmony bits where they may need to be played. I find just getting the lead player to play the lead cleanly once is more than enough. Especially if they haven't written the lead ahead of time and decided they were just going to improvise in the studio so we can all see how awesome they are. Yeah, that's happened exactly 0 times.
I used to work at an outdoor venue that did weekly concerts to about 2,000 people. A few times we had extra speakers in the van from packing down another job just before. On these occasions, rather than pack them back in a van for the duration of the show, we'd stand them next to the speakers we usually used at the venue and leave them unplugged. Without fail, we'd get compliments about how the extra speakers made the sound better than usual. People really do hear with their eyes.
Everybody denies it, but that's exactly what happens. Just ask the guy who put a brand new set of special tubes in his amp about how much better his amp sounds. And that's the ironic thing. You never ever hear a guy who bought a brand new set of special tubes for his amp and his amp sounded worse.
I love how you make arguments based on any point of view. I love that these videos contradict each other. Just kind of goes to show different strokes for different folks, because at the end of the day, the best thing is just simply what works best for you, the end user.
Well, I've always said if we all like the exact same thing, then music would be really fucking boring. Like modern death metal.
I don't know what that troglodyte complaining about anamorphic was on about, but I noticed the new look in this video right away, and I think it looks amazing. Awesome lens, too.
Of course, you're talking about the amazing Surae anamorphic lens that I'm shooting with here. Yeah, I absolutely love this thing. I actually am shooting a demo for the new Kali LP6 Mark IIs back here, and that's the first video, gear review video that I'm doing in anamorphic as well. It's a little more challenging to shoot, but damn, is it ever gonna look cool. That's the thing about anamorphic lenses. It's like I've got several cameras now. I gotta get more anamorphic lenses if I want to do a true multicam setup. I must be out of my freaking mind with this stuff, whatever. But hey, you know what? You guys like the look. I'm more than happy to work hard to make sure I've got something very special for you guys to watch week after week after week. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the SMG Discord. And I'll leave you with a little bit of advice before signing off. If you're in a new band and you're thinking on signing with CD Baby, don't.